chemistry in the office or the chemistry in the studio or the chemistry on the team is always so important that you really have to handle it with kid gloves, right? So when one person in the office or on a team starts dating somebody that's connected to somebody else in the office or the team, it's not good for anybody.
Do you owe it to your teammate to tell them if you just might be getting into a serious relationship with their ex? That's the question. And my dude is in this situation, and it's very layered. It's even more than them being teammates. And it's a question of, is it really the guy's business? Because if it goes bad, it could have a lot of different bad repercussions for my friend in a lot of different areas. So to give y'all the full picture, he's a bartender, and that's important because not only is this guy his teammate, but he also visits this bar frequently, all the time. So they're in each other's vicinity weekly. That happens. Now, they're not best friends. They don't really hang out per se, but they do have each other's number. They do see each other, and they're friendly at the bar when they do. And they also play in, which is going to sound funny, but it's a really big deal to them. They play in this yearly soccer league where, like, everyone in the state that's not a professional soccer player, this is pretty much where they go to continue to play soccer.
So it's not like a rec league. It's like a step up from a rec league.
Exactly that. And they've won a couple championships in this league. It's been a thing for like 10 plus years. So they're teammates. At the end of the day, if you've ever played sports, you're close to your teammates. They may not be your best friends outside of the sport, but when you get together on the field and in practice and things like that, there's a brotherhood there. There's a camaraderie there, and usually the chemistry is very important. So the guy, and this is all according to my friend, this guy was in a relationship with this woman for about 3 years, and they were pretty serious. They almost got engaged. He got cold feet towards the end of the relationship. This happened about 6 months ago, so it's fairly recent, and they decided to go separate ways. And this was because of him. He got cold feet. He didn't want to go through with it. He said, I think I need some time.
And the breakup happened how long ago?
6 months ago.
Okay.
And they were engaged.
They were about to get engaged.
It's pretty serious either way.
Right. And for whatever reason, he was like, you know what? I need some space to figure some things out. Now, in her mind, space was like, you're going to take some time and then come back to me with some kind of answer, whether we're moving forward or not. But he never did. He kind of just got caught up in that limbo and just was enjoying himself in the space.
Yeah, you can't have open-ended time.
Right. At that point, I think that's how she felt. And she felt like, I'm moving on with my life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, moving on with her life, which, according to my guy, this was not something that was planned. It just happened. But it can kind of seem like it was planned because there were a lot of instances when the couple were together that they would all be around each other. And at that point, my dude became somewhat of a friend to the couple. So when he needed advice, for example, about what to do in their relationship, they would be at like barbecues that the team would have, events like that. And he would go to my guy. And then my guy would give him genuine advice about what he felt like they should do.
You should break up with that chick.
That's
You should definitely break up with her.
What was the advice?
I did ask him that. He said genuinely his advice would be he would try to help him fix it.
Okay.
He wouldn't. So that it doesn't look like he was trying to snake him back then.
Yeah.
He wasn't a saboteur.
No. According to him,
Okay,
right?
okay.
He genuinely would try to help him fix it, but it just didn't work out. So at some point within the last couple of months, she started coming to the bar a little more. They started becoming closer and closer and closer. Before you knew it, they were hanging out. Now, initially, he didn't feel like he had to say anything. She didn't feel like she had to say anything. It really isn't the guy's business. She's moved on, whatever. But it's actually getting serious. And it's to the point now where they're hanging out every single night, and he doesn't want to hide it anymore, and she doesn't want to hide it anymore. But my dude is like, I'm not going to lie, this guy is volatile. Like, he has a bit of a temperament, and I don't think this is going to go well. So they're in this limbo of, is he obligated to tell him? Because if he finds out another way, that could go really bad. I mean, for the team, if nothing else. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he does kind of feel like, man, I have this dude's number in my phone.
Yeah.
I mean, I've given him advice about his lady when they were together.
Yeah.
And now I'm dating her, and it just looks bad. And in his mind, it's like, it just looks so much worse than it is. And maybe if he goes to him first, he can kind of get ahead of it, and it won't be as bad in the end.
It's 100% what he has to do.
Yeah, he's got to man up.
He's got to man up and tell him. If he finds out another way, it's going to be. You've seen these videos where all hell breaks out at a practice and two dudes start fighting with each other.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen.
It has nothing to do with the soccer game. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way he can just skirt around this. I mean, it's going to be a difficult conversation. Like, that's what he needs to realize, is that there's no easy way to go about this. You can't go into this conversation thinking he's going to be like, oh my God, you're dating my ex-girlfriend, that's so great. And maybe don't get too anxious to the point where you think he's going to, like, hit you. But it's going to sound so bad if they're, like, on the soccer field and someone, like, makes a little jab at him and be like, well, did you hear that so-and-so? So, yeah, I would go for the conversation, have it sober, have witnesses. Don't do it behind closed doors and have it sooner rather than later.
Because that was his other question. I told him the same thing. I said, you got to talk to him. And he said, do I text him or do I tell him in person?
You got to tell him in person. I've done this conversation before.
You have?
Yeah, because I didn't realize the guy I was dating was an ex of a friend of mine from it was our high school sweetheart. So I went to her and I'm like, hey, here's the deal. I just want to make sure like you're cool with this or whatever. She said, yeah. And then she ended up sleeping with them. So yeah.
All's well that ends well.
Not easy being a good person.
No, sir, not at all.
Not.
The Bert Show.